What up, modified 95 family? We're back again. We're gonna do some work on the motor that we have hand selected with care and keeping for the wagon. So last time I posted just getting the engine bay ready. It's almost ready to even get some water on it. I just got a few things to tape up and I'll probably pull out a bunch of interior stuff like in the next video just to get prepped because the brake master cylinder has to come out. But me and Zero behind me, bam. We're gonna take out the motor. It's kind of tucked away with a bunch of other motors, so that'll just take us a second. And then the radiator came in. I first got a Civic one, but then I was counseled that a DA Integra one would probably be the better option. So I got that too. So I opened it, but I haven't personally seen it. So we're gonna look at it because the box looks haggard. So I want to make sure what's inside is good. All right, so let's go. I don't think there's anything wrong with the original radiator. You can see that my car wasn't automatic, so that's why the lines go to the bottom of that cooling piece. So it doesn't look bad, but I just wanted to upgrade a little bit to the B Series 1, and the DA Integra has that B Series. So in here, I'll recycle that. I'm very big on recycling. So the box was kind of messed up. Like before I even opened it, you could see it looked like they put like something on top of this or a ratchet strap, and this was already there. Like, so all these holes and whatnot were in here. And if my ninja powers, I probably can't do this with one hand, but I can get some assistance. Perfect. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, none of the fins seem to be bad, or the plastic. I was contemplating sending it back because everything looks so funky fresh, and I did not really care for that. But seeing it, nothing looked cracked, and it's only like 70 bucks. I think they probably did a pretty okay job of packing it. So I think this should be okay. So next, now that I'm actually happy with this, I don't have to say anything bad. Usually eBay takes care of me, all the different companies. I don't really care where they source the stuff, just as long as it works and it gets here without being busted. But I can already tell that these look just like a little bit thicker, and that was what I was worried about with the B Series hose. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to over clamp this and the hose start bulging. So I'm happy with that. All right, coming into the motor zone. This is my blown motor that we need to pull the head off of it just so we can keep the top part, because I'm assuming that's still good. This doesn't work. If we bring it around back, you know, like a submarine with a screen door, that big hole in the back means that bottom end's no good. But all the sensors are still good. I sold the intake manifold. The exhaust manifold's still good, of course. And it looks like the head might still be good. So an extra Y8 head is always good to have to add to the collection of all the heads and blocks that are spares. But this is the B18. This is coming out. See, Zero got a custom wiring harness. We're going from OBD 0 of the EF wagon, the 91, and now we're going over to OBD1 to match the 95 Integra that this motor came from. I ran it with no problems in my 93 Civic hatchback. Sold the car, but definitely wanted to keep the motor because that's where I thought all the value was. And having 87 horsepower in the automatic was just not the way to do it. Just all the cars were blowing by you. I felt like I was Amish. Cars just swerving around me, and I was just doing my darndest to get where I was going. So the harness is looking good. It'll be cleaned up. Things will be shrink tubed. It'll go into a loom. Gonna probably pick that up from Harbor Freight. And currently the valve cover is off today because it's still being polished. I'm taking my sweet time with that. And then there's a couple parts that we're gonna put on here, and I'll show you and I'll tell you why. It'll be a little bit louder just for a second. We're getting the air tank all filled up, but you can see this is where I'm at with the progress and getting this shiny. I planned on shining it with sandpaper of various grades and wet sanding it, and then doing like a high temp clear for like brake calipers. I got all that stuff, and then my housemate was like, let's do something different. Let's polish it like all the way. So we need like polishing wheels that will hopefully get in here and make that shiny. So that's why that's off. I got this covered in the plastic, and I have this towel over here just trying to keep anything from getting in there. But today, I need to replace this. It's the big thing we're doing to have the right, because this is the DC one and the DA one is slightly different. Bam, bring it into frame. So that's going to replace that. You can see the offset, they set at a different angle. These are kind of straight. These are offset, so that's going on there. And then I also bought the power steering pump for the DA Integra and the mount, so hopefully they'll mount right here onto the front of this, into the same mounting holes. And the last piece on here is like a V-belt slot, so I need to switch it to the pulley that's a V-belt and hope it doesn't throw off the one other row we're using for the alternator. So we're using this big behemoth, so should just bump it off. Let's see. So it is something you should probably use an impact socket for. We did not do that. So back to the drawing board, because I think we just blew through that reducer. So we will find another one. But this is definitely the kind of power we're going to need. I wish I would have thought of this while this was still in the car, but that was a long time ago. But here's the new one, and I'll show you. So like that's the one that's on there. This is the one we need. Just that last row that's different. And then when this comes off, we have to make sure we catch that key, because we don't want to lose that, because this thing shouldn't just spin free once it's on there. All right, take two. I think that was a success. Takes a lot less manpower when you got a behemoth of a tool like that. Boom, and this bad boy spins right off. So all this is gonna have to come off. I'm pretty sure the top two bolts are out of this. I'm sure I didn't lose those, or we have spares. And so I need to get, I think it's a 10 mil for right there. So let me find that tool. I'm not gonna bother time lapse this. I just come and go as I please. All right, perfect. Everything looks good in here. I did not run this motor for a long time. I got it from Zero over there out of his car, and he took really good care of it. So the timing belt is in really good condition. There's no like cracks or frays or anything to worry about. It's just a little bit dirty back here, not because anything was leaking from after any repairs that were done. It's just this is the one place we didn't clean it, and I did not have the cover off when I cleaned the outside, just to make it a little bit lighter, a little bit cleaner. This is not a show motor, so it's definitely not going to be super clean. And we're looking for our tool. This was our original reducer, because we got this one, I think it's a John Deere Tractor Supply. It's the only one that took it down from like, what was that, 1 and 3? Yeah, 1 inch to 3. Oh, 1 inch to 3/4. That's a big reducer. And we didn't have a second one, so he just hit it with a little bit of weld. And then while we were taking off crank pulley bolts, it snapped. So we kind of just squeezed it back together and welded it. This is custom. This is full custom. You can't buy this kind of stuff in a store. You have to make this. But yeah, so now that piece is going to go on here. I'm going to wipe it out just a little bit. Nothing crazy, just mostly right here at the bottom. So it kind of matches how nice everything else is. And then it'll all go back together and be waiting for the valve cover. I don't want to feel like you, the audience, is missing out on what's going on. But I had to scavenge some bolts. It's like, why have extra motors if you don't have bolts and pieces you're going to take off? So off this motor, I had to take some of the timing cover bolts. Yeah, I got 2 off that, and then off that B18A that I got that is only for parts. I have no idea what the inside, or if there is anything even inside those internal wise, but that one had 1. So I put all the bolts back in here, because when I started I only had 1, and I got that little rubber seal to seat properly. This mounted no problem, just used the factory 3 bolts that were already on there. I had ordered one of these on eBay. It did not come. It's a discount one with no like hardware, no like top mounting hardware. So Zero bought me another one. He actually shut out and got the innovative one. Mine just said no name brand on it. And then as I noticed with the DC Integra cover, it doesn't exactly fit, but that's just plastic. So I'm not thinking it's gonna cause any noise or problem right there. So coming right here, we got the right pulley on. I lined it up and just like tapped it on there. Well, first I tried to put that little, I want to say like woodruff key in there, and then put this on, and then it fell into the valve cover. And I almost had to take all of this off before, and he's like, why don't you just put the pulley on first? So then I had the pulley on, and then I was told when it wouldn't work, because my big fingers wouldn't fit in here, that I had misaligned it. So he went in there. So that look straight to you? I don't know. But my key was very notched. I guess it's something that naturally happens as this kind of like floats in there and beats against it. So it's kind of sheared almost halfway off. So we're looking for another one, like a new one. There should be 2 or 3 because you got to have spare parts. You cannot work on Hondas without spare parts. So we're looking for another one. Hopefully we can get it in there. Then this will go back on. And then I'll probably also see what I can do about the power steering bracket. I'll just make sure the bracket lines up. I mean, I bought it, but I haven't read any forms. I haven't checked, but I would like to have power steering on this. I will not die without it, but I just thought it'd be cool as a comfortable little cruiser. I mean, honestly, this seems right. These would fit. Yeah, gotta find those bolts. It seems like where it'll fit. And so I'm hoping this is all going as planned. Do I need this piece? This is some sort of like tensioner that I might have to look for. Hopefully that's not like $1 million to negate the good deal I got on here. Maybe I'll find an old one in a junkyard. Checking my bolt cup. It's another big Honda thing is you got tons of bolts that are usually pretty interchangeable. So I found some mounting hardware for these. And we're just seeing if it makes it fit. I think that one was too long. Yeah. So either we will cut it down or we will find the right one. And I am still looking for, not putting washers in there. Never know. Still looking for those 2 shouldered long bolts that go in the timing belt cover. But yeah, it's going good. Maybe things aren't as disorganized as I thought.
See how it's still got a nice gap.
Okay, maybe like a washer. I'm not gonna be mad about that. I want to be a detail-oriented person. So not only did we find adequate hardware to hold those, it looks like, also found these bad boys. These should be the right ones with the washers on there, with the semi-pointed ends, because I guess they're supposed to go through, even though the top of one looks caged. I tried to clean these threads, but like right there, look how fat it gets right there. So I don't know about that piece, but it'll still go on. Yeah, so like I want to have lots of detail. And here's this. Now I'd like to clean this up because this could be like a little bit more shiny, right? Just get some of that black stuff off of there. Make it look more like that on all sides. Would kind of be neat, but there's kind of a certain point you get to, usually later in the build, where the motor's just about to go in and everything's ready and you just put it in like that. So we're not to that point, so I just got to make time to do that. All right, this looks good. I mean, does it look like a straight line to you between there and there? I think the belt will work. I'm hoping that the Civic one's piece mounts onto here. I'm pretty sure the guy I got this from in LA was very nice. He did not have these bolts, but I wasn't tripping on it. I think it's only cost me like $80, and I was like fine with it. It's the cheapest one I could find, and he was very cool. He came and meet me. I was coming back from work down in LA, and I stopped at a gas station. He met me there and provided me with this, and it seems to spin pretty good on its own. But yeah, I'm hoping the Civic one's the same, but he did, like I said, provide me with the Integra one. So either I hope the Civic one fits and will reach here, or I have the Integra one that I can put back to the new power steering rack that I got. That should be the right one, because the other one was leaking all over the place. All right, I think that's all for today. It was 94 degrees in here. I meant to put on gloves. I always mean to put on gloves. But I'd really like to hear from you guys. Where are you guys from? What Honda parts do you need? I might have them for you. Definitely hit me up. I don't do a lot with shipping, but I'm all over California, so I could definitely meet you somewhere and get you those parts. Yeah, so next, I'm trying to get into the engine bay when the sun is not beating down, so that when I clean stuff, it's not getting stuck back on. You know, like you loosen it and it moves down this far, and then is dried back on even harder than it was to begin with. So getting all that cleaned out, and then going in, pulling out the pedal assembly, because I have the automatic pedals, and over there in that pile of junk under the bumper, I have the manual pedals. So that's all going in. All right, so we'll see you guys next time.